Yes.
However, we get our knowledge of aqaid, ethics, etc. from scholars. In such case, how do we deal with situations when 2, 3, or more legitimate and qualified scholars all express different views on a particular issue? Do we just choose the view that we prefer, or do we keep it as an open question? And does our judgment hold any power in such cases?
Yeah. Maybe this question was answered before, yeah?
Yes, it seems like it has been answered before. Maybe we'll try to look for the answer and put it here so that the person who has asked it again will have the answer readable for them.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the next question then, which is related to our UQ 101 course, Understanding Quran. Question on Wahi and its levels. Do Imams receive Wahi? Not in the prophetic sense, perhaps a lower level. And the second part of the question is, it is also known that some individuals who have purified themselves to a great extent experience moments of discovery or disclosure. Is that a lower form of Wahi?
Yes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wahi, in the sense of prophetic revelation, of course, stopped with the demise of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in the sense of inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, communication from Allah, this is not exclusive to the prophets, and it was there for non-prophets and can continue also after the prophets. For example, Lady Maryam salamullah alayha, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicated, or mother of Musa, أوحينا إلى Musa. So it can continue after the demise of the Prophet. Not only Imams, but even pious people, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspire them. But in the case of Imams, they have safe and guaranteed ways of communication. So the type of knowledge that they receive is so clear that leaves no doubt. Other people may receive inspiration, but it may not be as clear as in the case of Imams, because Imams have to be sure that this is from God, and people also can be sure that this is from God. So the knowledge that they receive is very clear, very detailed. But other people also can get some inspirations.
Thank you, Sheikh. I'll go to the next question again, which is also on a similar topic. You said in Quran lecture 3 that we cannot see the light of our deeds like wudu or reading of Quran. Is this for all humanity, or are these exceptions for those like prophets and imams, or even those who have purified themselves enough to lift the veils in this life?
Yes.
It raised more questions because I had read in a book written in part by Imam Khomeini called The Light Within Me, that one who goes through a spiritual change will at first see flashes of light, truth and clarity in its purest forms, and if they remain pure and steadfast, will eventually become encompassed in the light. Is the light of our deeds able to be seen within this light?
Yeah. What I said was, we normally don't see the light of our actions. So it's not that as soon as we make a wuzu, we see its light. As soon as we say our prayer, we recite Quran, we do sadaqah, we go for hajj, we see the light. Normally we don't see the light of our actions, but it's possible. And sometimes I make example of, for example, seeing the light of Ziyara Ashura on the face of one of the Talabe by Ayatollah Bahjat. Or, for example, sometimes people can see who has said his prayer, who has not said his prayer. By looking at their face, they can see. Or, for example, there is a story that a person went to Ayatollah Ansari Hamidani and said he had seen a great, magnificent light. And he said, was it the light of Allah? He said, no, that's not the light of Allah. That was the light of your wuzu. So it's possible, but most of the time, more than 99% of the cases, we don't see the light of our actions, although it's there. On the day of judgment, they become very clear and manifest. In dunya, they might be there, but we don't maybe see them. But it doesn't mean they don't have impact. The good thing is that when you do something good, that light, even if you don't notice, makes for you future decisions easier. That light keeps away bad people from you, attracts to you good people. So the hearts respond to that light, even if you or them don't see that light.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'll go on to the next section now. Question related to self-development SD201 course.
Yes.
The question is on the quality or perfection of man. First part of this question, we can understand that our quality and perfection are the reflections of the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the human level. But what is our conscious? The inner sense that we exist and is separated from the other as a being. From where does it come and what is its relation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Sorry, could you repeat the second half?
I'll repeat that. Yeah. So the first part of the question is, but what is our conscious? Is that okay?
What is our?
Today?
Sorry.
Let me start again.
Yes.
We can understand that our quality and perfection are the reflections of the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the human level. But what is our conscious? That is the first part of the question. The second part is the inner sense that we exist and is separated from the other as a being. From where does it come from and what is its relation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Our conscience is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that enables us to distinguish between right and wrong. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Allah has inspired us to understand what is right, what is wrong, what is moral, what is immoral, so we can discern, and also we have inclination towards good. So not only we understand right and wrong, we don't like wrong, we like right. We are inclined towards right. This is about conscience. Then our inner sense or our inner knowledge of ourselves, so this has different aspects. One is that we have a sense of our identity. Me. This is my identity that makes me different from other human beings, other beings, even different from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But although I am different from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am not separate, I am not disconnected. The minimum is to understand that I am created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it can reach the point that you can understand your reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala existentially, more than just theoretically. You say, because I am, for example, an effect, I am ma'lul, there must be a cause who has created me. No, you can understand your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala little by little, more and more clearly, to the extent that you would see yourself always dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like you see the shadow and the light which has created this shadow together. Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbahu. Whoever knows himself has known his Lord. This can have different levels. It starts with the theoretical knowledge, with conceptual knowledge, with ilm husuli, but it can reach also ilm huduri, that your understanding of yourself is ilm huduri. At the same time, you can have understanding of Allah, which is ilm huduri. You can sense Him, you can feel Him as your Lord. At the same time that you are separate and you are not by any means, identified with Him.
So the second part of the question then, Sheikh, is can we say that the level of perfection will be reached for the Sultan al-Jannah, residents of heaven? If yes, then we must assume that there is a different degree of perfection since there are different degrees of Jannah. For example, there is a different degree of perfection for students depending on their academic level. So what makes someone a student of a higher degree of perfection? How not to stay stuck in reaching perfection in the kindergarten level and go to primary level school to attain the perfection there?
There are different levels, and in each level the expectations are different. We say hasanatul abrar, sayyatul muqarrabin. What is a good action and accepted from a pious person, if it is done, the same action, if it is done by someone who is muqarrab, who is very close, would be considered as a bad action. Like a painting that a child in the kindergarten makes, if it is done by a student of arts in the university, would not be accepted. If the salat that we say is said by someone who is muqarrab from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would not be accepted. So there are different levels, and in each level you are not expected, you are not required to do something higher than your level, but you have to make sure that you fulfill the requirements of that level. And when you fulfill the requirements of that level, then you go to a higher level. Like you pass the exam which is for your level, then you will be going to higher levels. And of course, exams will change, tasks will change. But right now, you are not responsible for those higher exams.
There's a continuation of the question here. I'm not very sure whether the earlier part of your question would have answered it. From the door of Man Arafa Nafsa, and perhaps a different angle, but the same question is above. What is human essence? It also has attributes of essence and acquired attributes that we can lose, like being generous. What is human essence?
Human essence is humanity, is what we call haywan natiq. We are a type of animal which is able to think, to rationalize, to understand universal concepts. This is our essence. But we have potentials. We have ability to acquire virtues. We may have some of them to some extent, but we can have all the virtues in an unlimited way. We can also fail to have virtues, or we may develop vices, vicious characteristics. But the essence is the same. Yes, there is an idea that Mullah Sadra has that sometimes two human beings are so much different from each other that maybe you can say even their substance has changed. One is a human being, one is not a human being anymore, it's just an animal. But this is a more kind of philosophical, mystical idea. But on the ordinary level, we can say humanity is shared by all human beings, but then what type of characteristics, what type of qualities they develop, and what type of ideas they have, and what types of actions that they have. So their ideas and beliefs, their characteristics, and their actions make them different types of the same substance, different types of same species. Some can be very good, some can be very bad.
Sheikh, just looking at the time, we might be able to go through one question.
Yes.
We'll see how that goes, and then maybe the introductions. Sure. I'm going to go to self-knowledge 101. Once again, the idea being to try to give some variety in the questions that we have, because we have many questions here.
Yes.
So the question in self-knowledge is, what is true friendship in Islam? What are the attributes, manners, etc.?
True friendship, and then?
So basically, again, in brackets, they put down here, what are the attributes, manners, etc. of true friendship in Islam?
Mm-hmm. I had a series in Ramadan, I think it was 2014, on friendship and brotherhood. And basically, the true friendship, the real friendship, because one hadith says, there are friends with whom you just laugh, you enjoy yourself, which is good. When you go to office, when you go to university, you need to have friends with whom you enjoy your time. You talk, you chat, you drink tea, coffee together. These friends are ikhwanul mukashara, those with whom you smile and laugh. But true friends are not easy to find. These are the people who are muttaqi, and they love you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the value that you have, not because they want to gain from you. They are loyal, they are honest. Whether you are rich or poor, whether you are healthy or ill, you are famous or unknown, they would not change their opinion about you. They are always there to help you, to support you. So they are really like a brother for you, like a sister for you. Brother for brother, sister for sister. These are true friends. And it's very important to be always trying to find such people. Hadith says, أَعْجَزُ النَّاسِ مَنْ عَجَزَ عَنْ اكْتِسَابِ الْإِخْوَانِ. The most incompetent people are those who cannot find brothers, means good friends. And worse than them are those who lose those who have already found. So true friendship is based on taqwa, and it will remain even on the day of judgment. Allah says, الْأَخِلَّاءُ يَوْمَئِذٍ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ عَدُوٌّ إِلَّا الْمُتَّقِينَ. Friends become enemies on the day of judgment except the pious people. Those who were not pious, they will realize that indeed they were enemies of each other. They were wasting each other's time and talents and energy, because it was not based on true friendship. It was not based on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But true friends, muttaqi friends, are remaining as friends. So if you want more, you can refer to that series of 10 lectures about brotherhood and friendship, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Sheikh.
You're welcome.
Just reflecting on the words that you have mentioned here, I have for some time now felt that within the KLC family, we have found friends who are true friends.
Alhamdulillah. May Allah inshallah strengthen.
Our thanks